Recently during a Q&A, I was asked by subscriber RCT3 is Epic if I could choose one Disney ride vehicle to turn into an actual vehicle and drive around town, which would it be and why? I thought this was an interesting question. It made me think about what I would want to drive around in. It made me think about how long it would take to get to and from work and all that sort of stuff. And then it made me think about how long it would take to go elsewhere. And so I figured out how long it would take to go from Disney World to Disneyland with various Walt Disney World ride vehicles. Now, before we get started, driving from Disney World to Disneyland is a trip that is 2,497 miles. Now, obviously, if you're actually driving from one to the other, you're going to stop, you're going to sleep overnight in different states, you're going to stop for meals and stuff like that. But for this video, we're just assuming that, magic autopilot's taking over and it's a non-stop trip. So that's about the length of the trip we're going to be taking, around 2,500 miles. So first off is the monorail. The Walt Disney World monorail averages a speed of around 40 miles per hour. That means the trip to Disneyland would take 62.4 hours, or a little over 2.5 days. Another ride vehicle that a lot of us get to enjoy before we even get inside the parks are the parking lot trams, which you can see at the various parks around Walt Disney World. These travel at an average speed of 14 miles an hour, which means a trip from Disney World to Disneyland is going to take you about 178.4 hours. That's almost 7.5 days, so a little over a week. Non-stop. That sounds awful. Let's speed things up then. Let's do Rock and Roller Coaster. At its top speed launch, it travels at 57 miles an hour, which means it can get you all the way over to Disneyland in 43.8 hours. If you want to slow things down and actually ride something that resembles a car, you can always ride the cars from the Tomorrowland Speedway. Those travel at an average of 7 miles an hour, which means it'll take you a little over 356 hours to get to Disneyland. If you're keeping count, that's almost 15 days. That's 2 straight weeks of driving non-stop. I don't think I'd be able to handle the sound of those cars for 2 weeks, let alone the smell. If you're looking for a larger car, though, we could always go with Test Track. Now, Test Track is actually the fastest ride vehicle in Walt Disney World. At a top speed of 64.9 miles an hour, that means it'll take you 38.5 hours to get to Disneyland from Disney World. That's a little over a day and a half. Okay, so we've taken a look at the fastest way to get to Disneyland with a ride vehicle. How about the slowest? For that, you would need the Haunted Mansion's Doom Buggy. This Omnimover system moves at a extremely slow rate of 0.92 miles an hour. That means it would take 2,714 hours to go from Florida to California. If you don't want to do the quick math in your head, that's over 16 weeks. 16 weeks of non-stop crawling from Florida all the way to California to get to the other Haunted Mansion. On the upside, 16 weeks in a Doom Buggy means you're probably going to be a ghost by the time you get to California. So, there's that. If you want to shave off a couple of weeks, the Spaceship Earth Time Machines, which is also an Omnimover system, travels at 1.022 miles per hour. That'll get you there in 2,443 hours. So basically, instead of a little over 16 weeks to get there, it'll actually only take about 14.5 weeks. So it'll still be awful, but at least, you'll have Judi Dench to keep you company. All right, here's an interesting one. What about the Tower of Terror? Now, the Tower of Terror is known for going up and down, but what if we took the speed of that drop, turned it on its side, and applied it to a trip to California? Well, the Tower of Terror elevator drops at a rate of 39 miles per hour, which means non-stop falling sideways to California would get you there in 64 hours. But maybe you want to kick back, you want to relax, you don't want to move that fast. When I think about relaxing at Disney World with ride vehicles, I think of course, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority. The vehicles for the TTA People Mover can reach a top speed of 8.8 miles per hour. That'll get you to Disneyland in about 12 days, or a little over a week and a half. If you want to try Walt's favorite method of transportation, there's always the Walt Disney World Railroad over in the Magic Kingdom. That can reach speeds of 30 miles an hour. That'll get you to Disneyland in 3.5 days, which is not bad compared to the Doom Buggy, but it's also not that great either. It's also an open-air train, so it'll probably get cold. It'll probably be a pretty bad trip. If you want to travel in a way that's faster than the Doom Buggy, yet somehow worse, you've always got the It's a Small World boats. Those travel at an average rate of 1.6 miles per hour. Assuming it's somehow on the road, that means it'll get you to Disneyland in 65 days. That's 9.3 weeks. Think about that for a second. Over 9 weeks of It's a Small World on loop. And my personal favorite is the ship from Star Tours, because depending on how you want to look at it, it'll either get you to Disneyland in the blink of an eye, thanks to light speed, or it'll get you there never, because it's a simulator and it doesn't actually move forward or backwards. There you have it, just a short list of some randomly selected ride vehicles and how long it would take to get all the way from Disney World to Disneyland. What I'd love to hear from you is, which vehicle would you want to travel in most? I feel like probably the answer is going to be either the monorail or the test track or one of the ones that doesn't take weeks and weeks and weeks. Let me know in the comments below if you have suggestions for other ones. Maybe we do another one of these videos. This was fun to look up. There are plenty of other ride vehicles out there that we can figure out. You can leave those suggestions below as well, or you can let me know on Twitter. I'm at RobPlays. I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to see more Disney videos like this, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. I make 3 a week. Have a great week. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it. And if you're on one of these ride vehicles going to Disneyland and you've got all that time to kill, you definitely want to make the most of that time. That's for sure. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.